I just wanted to do a quick little video that talks about the difference between facts and opinions. And this is something that is in the PowerPoint handout. I know we're not going through these handouts completely, at least for this first module. Later on in the semester, we will be going through each section. I'll probably just break it up into sections and try to have lectures for each little section. So anyway, so what I wanted to talk about was starting here on slide 4. A lot of people don't consider psychology as a science. And why do you think that is? Why do you think somebody says that like biology, chemistry, all of those things are sciences, but psychology is not? Well, it's a kind of a complicated question because there's so many different types of research that we do within psychology, and there's so many different methods that are used. Some of the methods people might consider to be more soft science, whereas other methods are strictly adhering to the scientific method. And I do have a video posted on our site that will tell about the scientific method. So we're not really going to go over that. But what I really wanted to get to was I wanted to talk to you about fact versus opinion, because a lot of people go through life thinking that their opinions are actually facts. And I do not see that on this handout. Oopsie. All right, let's go to PowerPoint 2. I'm not going to edit this or fix it. We're just going to go from here. Okay, so this talks about why research is important, basically because as we learn new things, we change our ideas, change our theories, and we just gain more knowledge as time goes on. All right, so here's what I was talking about with the difference between opinions versus facts. Facts can be obtained through scientific findings. So, for example, some people may say abortion is an individual woman's decision, or abortion is bad and should be outlawed. Some people say guns are bad and people should not be allowed to own them. Other people say people should have the right to own guns for their own protection and for sport and for hobby. Another thing that people might say is, I will go to heaven when I die. Now, all of those statements on this side are simply opinions. Your opinion may be that abortion should be a woman's choice. Your opinion may be that abortion should be illegal. But as much as people want to argue about this, that is simply an opinion. Now, if you want to talk about facts, you can do things to look at scientific findings. For example, we can ask questions like, what's the number of abortions per year? What are the ages of the people getting abortions? At what stage are the fetuses being terminated? What are the psychological outcomes on, people who have abortions? Those are all things you can ask using the scientific method, and that you can come up with factual data for, and that factual data, you may use that factual data to support your opinion, whether or not you think abortion should be a woman's choice or whether you think it is bad. So the facts can be used to support those opinions, but those are just opinions. Same thing with the gun stuff here. You can ask questions like, how many mass shootings per year have there been? What type of weapons were used in school shootings? What percentage of competition shooters are involved in gun crimes? What is the percentage of legally owned firearms used in crimes? So basically, all of those different things you can do some scientific research on and come up with factual data. You can come up with factual data, and that factual data can be used to support the opinion that you have. But these are still just opinions. And I just think that's a very important thing to remember these days. That sometimes we're going around saying that our opinions or factual things when they're actually just an opinion. And if we want to spout out some supporting data, well, that's good. It kind of justifies our view on that thing or our opinion. You know, same thing as like, will I go to heaven when I die? Well, you know, in my opinion, yeah. Okay. And other people's, no. And that's okay. Those are just opinions. Okay. I mean, I might have some supporting data, you know, for my ideas, and other people may have supporting ideas for saying that you won't. And that's okay, because these are just opinions. Okay. And to talk about the scientific method more, you can go ahead and watch the other videos that I have provided. Okay. That's it for now.